Originally, this video was going to attempt to look at all of the movies that have shamelessly ripped off E.T. over the years. This ended up being more difficult than I thought. Certain movies, like the Turkish version of E.T. entitled Body, are easy enough to find copies of, but I couldn't find any with English subtitles, so I didn't know what was going on. Other movies like the Filipino Little Boy Blue Tiny Terrestrial are near impossible to track down at all. And then there are some that too many people have talked about. Not that I care about it if I'm making a video on a topic that has already been covered, but so many people have talked about Mac and Me that I wouldn't have much to add. So ultimately, I decided to just talk about my favorite out of the bunch. A strange film from Spain called Extraterrestrial Visitors. The movie starts in the forest with some poachers tracking down bird eggs.
There, that's the nest. We'll make a fortune with that lot. They're nightingale's eggs.
One of them sees a meteor land, which he follows to a cave. This cave is full of eggs, and for some reason his first instinct is to smash them all. But something lurking in the shadows doesn't like this at all, and kills him.
I love hunting and poaching. I don't even eat that much meat. There's just something so satisfying about watching an innocent creature die.
Now we start cutting back and forth between a bunch of different characters. We have the aforementioned poachers, a young red-headed boy named Tommy, who can pretty much only be described as a young Conan O'Brien, and a hotshot recording artist with his band. Quite the cast of characters. The movie cuts back and forth between these characters so quickly that it takes a while to establish who anyone actually is. But we'll start with Tommy. He's a young boy living in the mountains with his mom and Uncle Bill. He loves collecting insects and has a bunch of pets.
Look what I got here, Uncle Bill.
A centipede.
It's a Lithobius vorticatus.
To me, it's a centipede. It's always been called a centipede.
Now we cut back to the recording artist at his studio. We are treated to a super catchy song. Saxophone solo! The soundtrack to this movie is pretty good, and the Blu-ray release features it on a CD as an added bonus. I wish all home releases included that. Anyways, Rick is the hotshot singer, and he's a total prima donna.
Good. Well, it stinks.
Well, I thought it was great this time.
Great, yeah. Kathy was half asleep, and you, Tracy, you were blasting out like a foghorn.
What's wrong with him then?
Rick and his band head up to the mountains to relax for the weekend.
It's really out of the way. Just a few rangers and a lot of bears.
There's a ton of unnecessary drama with this group that I will mostly be skipping over in this video.
Leave me alone. I'm going home.
Anyways, they head out on their trip. Back in the mountains, Tommy heads outside to do some exploring. He stumbles upon the cave where the poacher was killed earlier and finds the one remaining egg that is intact. He brings it home and hides it from his mom. Okay, I know this is gonna sound crazy, but I think a UFO just landed in my backyard. So I'm gonna give my good friend Dr. Frank Corncob a call, and we're gonna go investigate. Rick and his crew stop for a picnic. One of them, Laura, gets angry and storms off. She runs into the poachers, and since she's now a witness, they attempt to kidnap her. She gets away from them, but then nearly runs into a strange creature and falls off a small cliff. Rick and the others find her and bring her back to their RV to recover.
she's out cold.
A rainstorm causes big problems on the road, so they realize they won't be able to make it to a hospital. Therefore, they end up finding the only house anywhere nearby. Tommy's house, of course.
Surely there must be some way of getting help.
Not now, there ain't.
Tommy spies on his uninvited guests for a minute, but when he gets back upstairs, he notices that the egg has hatched a small elephant-looking creature. Meanwhile, the poachers are warming up at a campfire in a cave when the strange creature from earlier shows up. The poachers try to trap it, but it breaks free as they run away. It looks like an Ewok wearing an anteater's head. The director of this movie, Juan Piker Simon, only made about 15 movies in his career, but he's very well known and respected in Spain. He has an interesting catalog of movies. It seems like he liked to go back and forth between violent horror movies and family movies. But I can't judge that too harshly. It's probably exactly what I would do. Those are my favorite genres. Highlights of his include Slugs, a horror movie where killer slugs prey upon a rural town, an awesome adaptation of Jules Verne's Journey to the Center of the Earth, and a slasher movie called Pieces that has one of the best taglines ever. You don't need to go to Texas for a chainsaw massacre. Dang. Okay, now we return to Tommy's house and we see that the hatchling is starting to grow rapidly and looks an awful lot like the creature we just saw in the cave. Tommy has named him Trumpy.
You like that name, don't you, Trumpet?
I guess because his trunk thing resembles a trumpet. They don't really elaborate. The next morning, the girl who fell off the cliff dies. This is kind of dark for something that's trying to capitalize on E.T.'s success. Actually, there's a reason for that. This movie was originally written as a simple death by numbers killer alien flick. But when the producers saw how successful E.T. was, they decided to add the plot with a boy befriending an alien. Juan Piker Simon was not happy with the end result. That's so weird though. That's like if the producers of Titanic had seen an episode of Gilligan's Island and decided to add a second plot where the survivors head to an island and have wacky adventures. Ugh. The thought of that makes me shudder. Hopefully the only thing Gilligan's Island has ever influenced is turning the TV off. At this point, Trumpy is even bigger than Tommy and starts to show some telekinetic type powers.
You can do magic things.
Tommy asks Trumpy where his mom is and he points to the sky. But we know his mom isn't in the sky, don't we? She's out terrorizing poachers in the woods. Uncle Bill and Rick's producer Brian head out to try and find help. They come across a cabin with a dead poacher inside. He has some strange markings on his head. Then Trumpy's mother appears, kills Brian, and Uncle Bill just barely escapes. I mean, look how fast that alien is moving. I want to take a break from the movie and look at some of its ridiculous VHS covers. It seems like in the 80s and early 90s, anyone could make a cover for a movie and sell it. No, honestly, these covers were sold with the official copy of the movie. This one has the kid from the movie on it, but what is this bloody bird doing here? What does that have to do with anything? Again, this cover features the right kid, but what is this bulbous creature emerging from what looks like a ball pit? I don't remember that happening in the movie, although I do kind of wish it had. These ones are pretty shameless. This first one looks hand-drawn, but look at how the E and the T are emphasized and how it uses the same color scheme as E.T. This one is much more well done, but again, it's just trying to make you think you're about to watch Steven Spielberg's timeless classic. Also, what are these huge hands, and who are these two guys? This one's my favorite. It has the same weird hands as the last poster, but they're dripping green slime. And then there's this guy that looks like a young Matthew McConaughey. And what exactly is a futuristic thriller? Those are certainly not the words I would use to describe this movie. This poster brings so many questions to mind. Questions that will likely never be answered. Okay, let's get back to it. At the house, Tommy can't find Trumpy anywhere.
Have you seen Trumpy?
He goes into the room with the dead girl and she has the same strange markings on her head as the poacher. One of Rick's singers, Tracy, goes outside to grab something from the RV, but is also killed by the alien. I swear, the only purpose of Rick and his band is so the movie would have a bunch of victims. Tommy witnesses this murder and mistakenly believes Trumpy is the culprit since he looks exactly the same. Tommy heads out into the woods to find him. Uncle Bill returns, shoots at the alien, but it gets away.
It was that weird animal, and if we stay here, it'll kill us all.
Tommy returns to the house and everyone is shocked because they thought he was in his room all this time. Way to keep an eye on the most vulnerable member of the group, guys. Trumpy comes out of Tommy's closet.
Why did you kill that girl? Why did you do that? Trumpy, was it you? Are you saying there's another one?
Then Tommy gets a disguise for Trumpy. Perfect, no one will ever know there's an alien in there.
No, Mommy, don't shoot. Please. Tommy, it's going to kill you. Run, Trumpy, run, quickly. Tommy!
Tommy and Trumpy run while Bill and Rick grab guns and search for the alien. Trumpy's mother finds Tommy and Trumpy. Tommy tries to show that he wants to be friends and it almost works.
Don't worry. I'd just like to help you. I'm not like the others.
But Uncle Bill shows up and shoots at the alien and gets killed. Once again, Tommy and Trumpy run off. Rick manages to kill Trumpy's mother. Then we get this scene where Tommy tells Trumpy to leave.
Go away, Trumpy. I hate you. Go away.
It reminds me of the scene in Air Bud where Josh yells at Buddy to go away. But in Air Bud, Buddy and Josh have a heartwarming reunion. In this movie, Tommy just leaves Trumpy to die in the woods and the movie ends.
It's all right, darling. There's no danger now. Rick has killed that horrible monster.
Yes, Tommy, all the monsters are dead, isn't that right?
What the heck? Alright, so I called Frank to come check out this UFO with me. I'm hoping it contains a friendly alien that I can become lifelong friends with.
See, that's all gonna depend on the species. If it's a Sinus alien, they're known to be childlike, friendly, but if it's a
Wait, shut up, there it is.
That thing was coming right at you.
Rodney, you're sick.
I just saved your life. You're welcome.